It's mid-June 2023 and I am at the Red Rocks hang gliding competition, the first FAI-sanctioned foot-launch competition in the US after 6 years. We are based in the small town of Monroe in central Utah. Today is the second task of the competition, 58 miles or 93 kilometers, almost straight northeast, with a short final leg to the west. After the morning pilot briefing, we leave for launch around 11 a.m. Driving on a wide graded road going up Glenwood Mountain through Fish Lake National Forest, we gain about 3,000 feet over the valley as we arrive at the Cove launch site. We weren't able to fly the last few days due to strong wind, but conditions on launch look great today, and the 18 sport class and 25 open class pilots are excitedly getting ready. I'm in the sport class, flying my Moyes Gecko. I'll be wearing 3 layers of jackets and 2 pairs of gloves for warmth. Like most pilots, I have a small oxygen cylinder with an electronic system that provides the O2 above 10,000 feet. We are flying with our own Garmin satellite trackers, and the provided Flymaster tracker is for scoring, and both have an emergency SOS button. Unlike most pilots who prefer to have beer after landing, I prefer this meal drink. And I also have lots of water. The launch opens at 1 p.m. and the pilots who launched early are staying up. Conditions are getting stronger, so I get off around 1:30 and get an elevator ride up immediately. The strong southwest wind mixed with thermals is pushing up against the south face of the mountain, so I cannot turn tight, but it's easy to follow the ridgeline all the way up to Signal Peak. Once up to peak height, it takes some work to find the best course to get higher, since the strong wind has disturbed the thermals. From here, I enjoy the view of snow-covered Monroe Peak, that's 7 miles south, and barely higher than Signal Peak. It is the highest point of the Sevier Plateau. I finally lock into a solid climb that gets me up to 15,400 feet, just as the 2:15 start gate opens. That's my cue to extend my VG rope all the way and head on course. I don't see any other gliders around me, but there's a nice cloud streak perfectly aligned with the course line for the next few miles, so it should be easy to stay up. The wind is strong too, over 15 miles an hour, aligned with the course line as well. As I glide by the Sevier River Valley, I enjoy views of the many farming towns that have been settled in this fertile land over the years. Richfield is the oldest, settled in the mid-19th century, and also the largest city in the valley with a population of about 8,000. As I pass the town of Glenwood, I remember the nice landing I had there a couple days ago. I am about 10 miles from launch and still over 14,000 feet, but here there's a gap between the clouds, which is sinky. I get down to 11,000 feet approaching the pale Rainbow Hills and still sinking. But I bet the volcanic cone of Carter Peak is producing something, as I got up there on the practice flight. There are bubbles as I expected, but not a real climb, though I finally found another glider to fly with, so my chances of finding lift are doubled. I hang on to the bubbles that drift me further along course. I'm still higher than the other glider, who went ahead to look for something better. I lose my climb and continue along, getting down to 9.5 grand, approaching the Interstate Highway 70. It's one of the longest interstate routes in the US, connecting Utah to Maryland. It goes through Salina Canyon here, which separates the Sevier Plateau to the south from the Wasatch Plateau to the north. I've been flying near 2 gliders for a few minutes now, and we are all helping each other find the best climb. Finally, we've locked into a good one and going up fast, flying close together. There seems to be some overdevelopment and rain a few miles east, but it's on the high terrain away from course line. I'm not overly concerned by it, but I'm keeping an eye on it if it moves closer or if there are gust fronts in the valley. In about 25 minutes, we have climbed nearly to cloud base at 16,000 feet and drifted about 5 miles. Goal is now 26 miles away at an easy 13-to-1 glide downwind. So it's time to go into race mode, and I'm getting a fast 55 miles an hour ground speed. flying right between the sunny, picturesque St. Pete Valley and the eerie bands of rain over the dark Wasatch Plateau while racing to goal is a surreal experience. Flying past the towns of Centerfield and Gunnison, the course line keeps me at the edge of the clouds and I get a consistent 18 to 1 glide. I can see our goal, the Manti Ephraim airstrip. It's just past the town of Manti, the oldest Mormon settlement outside the Salt Lake area. But before heading to the airport, I still need to hit the turn point on the ridge ahead. I wish I could slow down and enjoy the scenery, but maybe I'm ahead of everyone and still have a chance to win. Watching the distance to the turn point on my Vario drop quickly. As it hits zero and beeps, just before the town of Ephraim, I make a hard turn to the west and have goal on a 3 to 1 glide. Finally, I tag the goal cylinder after hour and 40 minutes since I left the start cylinder, and I still have 1500 feet to spare. I see a couple of gliders on the ground, and the white glider I was flying with has just landed too. The wind on the ground is about 10 miles an hour from the east, a mild outflow from the OD. In a few minutes, I join the gliders on the ground and find out that I'm actually the fastest in goal in sports class. I've never won a task before, so I'm overjoyed. But soon we are told that about half the pilots weren't able to launch as the wind got too strong. So there will be no points for the day for anyone. That's a bummer, but I don't care because I'm happy with the way I flew and the blissful memories cannot be valued in points.